Hi guys, I'm Lauren with Lauren Watkins Art, and I have been playing a lot with gouache lately. I've been using both my tubes of Winsor Newton and M gouache, but I've also been playing around with a new set of gouache, which I'll talk about in a future video. So for those that don't know, gouache is similar to watercolor. It's often described as an opaque watercolor, but there's some characteristics of gouache that are really similar to acrylic paint. So let's go over what is gouache and kind of what the differences and similarities between watercolors and acrylics. So traditional gouache is an opaque water-soluble paint. It's most similar to watercolor as it uses the same pigments and binders, gum arabic, and it can be re-wetted after it dries. So you know how lots of times watercolors come in a palette and it's already squeezed out and you just add water to it and it activates and then you can paint with it? You can do that with gouache. So the palette I have, that was dried gouache paint that I'd used in a painting like a year ago. And then I sprayed it and let it sit for a little bit and then it activated and I started using it for this painting. The only thing I didn't reuse was the white paint. That is freshly squeezed white paint, but all the colors are ones that I reactivated that had completely dried. So it's very similar to watercolor in that sense, but it's a lot more opaque. There's a lot more pigment in it, and there's a lot more additives that make it more opaque, so that you can layer it up in a different way. You can dilute this down so that it's very translucent, similar to watercolors. So it's really nice, like if you want kind of a wishy-washy background and then have something more opaque and substantial in the foreground, you can do that with gouache. You can also use it in a concentrated form, which is what I'm using it more for today, where you can put something down and then do a layer of paint over the top of it and completely cover what you did previously. So you can work light to dark, or dark to light. So in watercolor, you typically work light to dark because you don't want to lose the white of your paper. Well, that's not a big issue with gouache because you can add white gouache over the top and bring back your highlights. So you can work dark to light, which is usually how you work with opaque mediums like acrylics or oils. So the biggest difference between acrylics and gouache, though, is that since gouache can be reactivated, it means that if you put a really wet layer of paint or you accidentally drip water onto your painting, it will reactivate that and pull up all that work you did. So I remember doing a painting and some water dripped off of my paintbrush and it made a pool there, and when I went to dab it up, it picked up all of the paint I'd put down. I think that's the aspect that keeps it so strongly in the watercolor realm versus leaning more towards acrylic paints. Now there's products advertised as acrylic gouache, but that's something totally different. This is just traditional gouache we're working in today. So you can't glaze with gouache like you can like in watercolors, since there's so many more pigments and particulates in a higher concentration with gouache. It's easier for those layers to be reactivated versus with watercolor. Watercolor, you can do things called glazes, which are thin washes over the top. As long as you're not creating pools of standing water for a long time, you can usually layer up your paints with watercolor, especially if it's a higher quality watercolor. So yeah, gouache is this weird love child between acrylic paints and watercolors, and I have this love-hate relationship with it. It's really fun. I love that I don't have to worry about my paints going to waste, because with acrylic paints, the paint dries so quickly. It ruins my paintbrushes because I always forget to rinse them out good enough. It dries and then I have to squeeze out more paint and I feel like I'm wasting it. I think that's my watercolor background. I'm not used to having to waste much paint. So I love gouache for that reason. I also love the way how it dries so quickly and it gets this like velvety matte look to it when it dries. So I really love that aspect of it. But my biggest drawbacks with it is one, if you accidentally get water on your paper, it can be hard to cover up that mistake you made if those layers get disrupted too much. And two, gouache tends to dry a different color than what you laid it down as. So some colors dry lighter and some colors dry darker. And so if you're trying to color match something that you just did and you're trying to fix a mistake, it can be a little bit tricky to get the color you need for that. I found this especially true when I'm working in like portraits and things like that. So it can get a little frustrating. So I just try to make sure I mix a little bit more than what I think I'll need. So for this painting, you can see that I sketched out the basic shapes that I needed, and then I started blocking in the background using the gouache. I did the sky, and then I started blocking in the foreground. And you can tell that I've started using a lot more darks a lot earlier than what I would typically work when I use watercolor. I put in a dark navy blue where the shadows were going to start being where the grassy foreground is. And I'm just layering up these paints. It's interesting trying to blend gouache because it dries so quickly. You don't have a ton of time to like work with it and blend it. It reminds me of acrylic paints that way. So how I've found that I work around the quick drying aspect of it is I tend to work a little bit more impressionistic, and then I do more layers on top to kind of refine. So I'm not trying to get a perfectly smooth blend. I'm just kind of building up those layers. If you do want a really smooth blend, I would make sure you pre-mix the colors really well and you have plenty of them on your palette, and then you can move over onto your paper and start mixing it, and we'll just work pretty quickly. So what are some tips I have when working with gouache? So this one's been touched on a little bit earlier, but I would do my thinner, more watery layers of the painting first. Just like with watercolor, you tend to do the layers that have the most water in them first, and then you build it up. And I find that's even more important with gouache. So if you want a washy background or you want to do a base painting that's kind of washed out, do those first and then build up more opaque layers. I wouldn't suggest trying to glaze and do a thin layer over the top of this because it does activate it. The other thing I've really learned with gouache, and this is just kind of a personal preference thing, is that I prefer to work from fresh gouache. So just freshly squeezed out of the tube. That's how I prefer to work with it because I find it's easier to get a consistency of the paint. You're not working with as many variables as water and dilution. And I find it's easier when you're trying to color match or make a lot of the same color paint. It's easier when it's fresh. If I'm going to work from dried paint like I did today, I activated it with a spray bottle 10 to 15 minutes before I was going to work, and then I sprayed a little bit more water on right before so that the paint really had a chance to soak up that water and to reactivate. And I used fresh gouache, fresh white gouache, because you tend to use a lot of white when you are working with gouache or opaque paints in general, because you're no longer using water to thin out your color concentration. You're using white to lighten it. And so I usually will squeeze out fresh white gouache because I find that helps make it more consistent and help me get the opacity that I'm looking for. I've also discovered that I have better luck when I use a stiffer bristled brush. So I tend to lean more towards the synthetic tack-on brushes versus like a natural haired brush. When I first used gouache a few years ago, I was just using my watercolor paint brushes because that's all I had. And I discovered that my watercolor paint brushes that I'd had for years that were in perfect condition were starting to lose the points on the end of them, and it was kind of bending, and I could see that they were getting worn down, and that's from the gouache paint. Gouache paint has a lot more particulates in it. There's a lot higher concentration of pigment and stuff. And so that can wear down the bristles of your paintbrush. And then when you are working with gouache that is dried and you're reactivating it, you're pushing your paintbrush into the palette a lot more, because gouache is a little bit trickier to activate than traditional watercolor. And so you are bending your brush and you're rubbing it in, and all those pigment particles in it are acting almost like a sandpaper. And so it was wearing down my paintbrushes. And I found that it was harder to layer the paints when I was using a watercolor brush, because my watercolor brushes were designed to hold a lot of water. Well, when you are in your last layers of a painting, you don't want it to hold a lot of water, because you don't want that water dripping down onto your gouache piece, because it will ruin it. And so after a few times experimenting, I realized I needed to use like a synthetic Taklon brush, gold or white, doesn't really matter. That's a little bit stiffer, because it made getting the consistency that I want a little bit easier. I had a little bit more water control, and my brushes didn't wear down. My watercolor brushes can last you a lifetime if you take care of them. I've had mine for 6 years and they're perfect. I haven't had to buy a new watercolor brush in a long time. But gouache is a little bit harder on it, and it will eventually wear down. And so you want to do a separate brush for those. You don't want to use expensive brushes with your gouache piece. So another trick I've learned when working with gouache is to make sure I'm using a very light hand with how hard I'm pushing the paintbrush onto the paper. Because with it being able to activate, and I know I've talked about this 1,000 times already in just this one video, I found that if you push hard, it tends to activate those layers of paint that are underneath, and then it muddies up or it lifts up the paint, and so it can ruin those layers you've done. So I tend to use a very light hand, and I just gently drag my paintbrush across the paper instead of kind of pushing it into the paper. Sometimes with like canvas and things like that, when you're applying the paints, you can kind of push a little bit harder to kind of get the paint into the nooks and crannies of the canvas, and you use a very stiff brush. You don't want to do that with this. You want to use a very light hand. You're already using a very stiff brush. And one of the drawbacks of a stiff brush is that it can activate the paint underneath it and pick it up. So just a very light hand, just lightly drag it over the piece when you're doing each layer. So the day I worked on this painting, this was the second painting I had done in my sketchbook using gouache that day. But that day was the first day using gouache in over a year. And there was a little bit of a learning curve to kind of get back in the swing of it and to remember how I liked working in it and how it acted and how it behaved, and just kind of adjusting from there. And whenever you are picking up a medium that you haven't used in a while, you'll find that you have a little bit of a learning curve to kind of get comfortable with the medium and to play with it. So even though this was my second gouache painting for that day, it was still taking me a while to get comfortable and used to it again. I was more comfortable than I was on the previous picture. I started with some more dark layers than what I had done on the other one, and my layering and blending were a little bit better. But there were still some techniques that were still kind of coming back to me as I was working. As I was working, I realized I needed to do some more dark layers to start with than what I had done. So you can see I'm adding a lot of dark into the water now. And because I didn't do it earlier, it's not as smooth of a blend, and it makes the water look a little bit more choppy and bumpy than if I had done it at first in a darker layer and then just added the highlights as needed. It's kind of funny because I'm using a paintbrush, so my brain automatically defaults to how I work with watercolor. But when I work with gouache, I actually tend to lean more towards how I work with soft pastels. I tend to work from dark to light with soft pastels, and I'm a little bit more impressionistic, and that's how I work with gouache. And so even though I'm holding a paintbrush, I need to think of like how I would do it if I was using soft pastels. So I'm just looking at my reference photo, and seeing what needs to be tweaked. I played a little bit more with the color and kind of adjusted it from what the reference photo looked like. And I'm definitely going a lot more loose and impressionistic with this painting. I'm not trying to focus too much on kind of hardcore details. I'm just trying to give the impression of what it is. This painting is of an area called the bird refuge that is close to my house, and it's kind of this marshy swamp area where it's kind of a few miles away from the edges of the Great Salt Lake, and so there's a lot of water that pools there. All the water that comes off of the mountains in the spring, with spring melt off, it all kind of runs into this area, and it's kind of this marshy swamp area, and there's tons and tons of birds that live out there, and you get some really beautiful scenes because you can see some mountains in the distance. You've got all this grass, and you've got this big open sky, and there's no buildings. And I love this area. And so I was working off a reference photo I had of it. But I just really, really had a lot of fun painting this and thinking about like school field trips that we would take out to the bird refuge and whatnot. So one of my favorite things about gouache is that even though it's not a readily known art supply, like if you ask the general public, they don't know what gouache is. They've heard of oil paints, they've heard of watercolors, and they've heard of like colored pencils and stuff, but they haven't really heard of gouache. Even though they don't really know what it is, it's something they've seen all of the time. Because gouache was used for and still is used for a ton of illustration, graphic design, and even animation. Digital artwork has kind of taken the place of it, just for helping improve speed and turnover rates when you are working with a deadline. But like a lot of early graphic work was done using gouache. Disney started using gouache in the 1940s for their animations, and you can see it especially in Disney's Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty has a very illustrative style in the background, and that was done using gouache. And as a kid, I loved watching Sleeping Beauty just to see how they painted the background. I guess I've always been an art nerd because of that, but I always just loved looking at the background of that painting and trying to figure out how they painted it. And now as an adult, I realized they were using gouache, and that's how they were able to achieve some of the effects of it. So just some fun tidbits about gouache. I hope if you haven't used gouache before that you give it a try soon. And if you have used gouache and you have it at home, but you haven't pulled it out for a while, pull it out and start playing with it. It's always fun to mix up our styles and to change up the way we're working to kind of keep that creativity flowing in our brains. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of what I create, please hit the subscribe button. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.